In this video, I'm going to cover 5 techniques that you can use to get better results from your music marketing conversion campaigns. Now, in this video, I'm going to be using the example of a Spotify growth or DSP growth conversion campaign, but this works exactly the same whether it's a lead generation campaign, a merch campaign, ticket sales campaign, or whatever. So if you've ever run one of these campaigns, you've never had good results before, and you didn't know how to fix it, then this is the video for you. Hey everyone, Andrew here. Now, if you're not familiar with the Spotify type of campaign, let me give you the 10-second backstory to get you up to speed. Basically, what we're doing is we're driving people from an ad to a landing page on which they convert to go stream the song on Spotify. We use a Facebook pixel installed on the landing page to tell when a conversion occurs. It's super effective, and I've generated over 10 million streams of my own music using this, and I've generated well over 100 million streams on other people's music doing this. And if you want to learn more about how to run this campaign, don't worry, at the end of this video, I'm going to link you to some other videos I have on this channel for you to check out. All right, so tip number 1 is to actually have good video ads and to test multiple parts of the song and even different creative styles. So if I share my screen here, I have an example ad campaign for my band Every Waking Moment. This is kind of an alternative metal project, and you see we have 3 ad sets inside this campaign. It's doing 22 cents a conversion, which is awesome. I think I have a dedicated video on this campaign too somewhere on my channel. But you can see inside of this, I ran 6 different ads of 6 different parts of the song. I tried verse 2, pre-chorus 1, verse 1, chorus 2, part 2, outro, chorus 1, part 1. I'm not just relying on the chorus. In this case, verse 1 was the best performer by far, right? Like, look at this other ad. Chorus 1, part 1, 46 cents. Chorus 2, part 2, 41 cents. Even the outro in verse 2 outperformed the chorus. So never rely on one ad creative, but don't just assume that a certain part of the song is going to be the best performer. Now, I'll show you briefly one of my ads, but I want to show you in a sec one of the best performing ads I've ever seen from someone else. So this is what my ad looks like. I won't play the audio for you because you might not even like this type of music anyways. It's just me sitting here. I swiveled out my thing. I put on a jacket. I made the lighting like how it is now. And I just lip synced the song, right? And I cut it up into parts. This type of ad is super easy to do. It takes like less than 20 minutes to film the whole song and then chop it up into all these bits. So this is a very easy way for people to get started with running ads. So recently on my channel, I interviewed Tia and Ryan McMahon, who have written songs for Justin Bieber and for Powfu and for Walk the Moon and a whole bunch of other huge artists. They're professional songwriters. And they have this project called Beach Crimes, and this ad is doing amazing. I think it was 8 to 10 cents a conversion. It's probably crept up over time because they've been running it for so long, but this is an amazing performing ad, and it's incredibly simple. So again, you can check out the song yourself. Actually, I don't know what song this is, but this is the Facebook ad library, and this is another awesome tool. If you just go to Google, look for Facebook ad library, you can type in any Facebook page you want and see all the ads they're running through that page. It won't tell you how it's set up, but you can see their ad creatives as long as you know the Facebook page it's being run through. So this is a very simple ad, right? They probably filmed this in probably no time because they're probably already driving. And she just hangs out the back of the car, someone's in the front filming it, and then they color graded the sky to make it look like pinkish, purpley, yellowy, orangey, kind of like really beautiful looking sky. Throw the lyrics on there. This song's out now. Wait for the drop. Yada, yada, yada. All right, so tip number 2 is to test multiple audiences and to not get too precious with the things that you're targeting. So if I share my screen again, this is an entirely different campaign that's doing reasonably well, 33 cents a conversion. It's a relatively new campaign. And it's an electronic style music, right? I'm talking house music, festivals, techno, house subgenres, and house artists. And the artists themselves would probably not necessarily agree with every single one of these targets. And the reason is a lot of artists, when they first get into this, they're like, I sound like this. These 3 artists are who I sound like, and they're the only people I want to target. But the thing is, not every artist is targetable on Facebook, but 2, it's not necessarily about who you sound the most like. It's about which fans of which artist are going to be most receptive to enjoying your music. And then additionally, every audience on Facebook has a different level of competition because Facebook's an auction. So one artist might be a better fit for your music, but another artist might be a good enough fit and the competition might be low. And one way that I recommend you think about this is don't think about who you sound exactly like factoring in everything about your music. Think about who does the vocalist sound like? What does the instrumental sound like? And that might be 2 completely different things. If your vocalist sounds like some other famous vocalist, but they're like a EDM thing and you're more of a pop thing, that doesn't matter. Like the vocals align, and someone that likes that vocalist might like your vocalist, and they might like that style of music too. On a similar note, if your instrumental is kind of like this hip hop fusion thing, but the vocals are pop, maybe targeting some artists that have beats that are very similar to that might work, because if those fans love their beats and your beats are similar to those beats, then they might like your beats too, and the vocals are just an added thing that they have to also like. Now, additionally, you can also blend targeting strategies. So originally I launched this with some house artists that the artist told me might make sense. They were Calvin Harris, Carl Cox, David Guetta, Jamie Jones, Loco Dice. I don't know most of these people because I don't really listen to house music, but this was what the artist recommended. So in addition to that, I also tried house subgenres. And here we have deep house, progressive house, and tech house as the things that we're targeting, because those subgenres, like, they all kind of make sense. Obviously, these are three different things, but they're all close enough, and they all kind of make sense when you listen to the song. You go to techno. We decided to try techno. Why? Well, if someone likes techno, there's a good chance they would like this song, even though it's more housey than techno-y. House artist is the one we just looked at. Festivals, we were targeting EDM festival stuff and Armin van Buuren. I forget why I put that there, but Coachella, Tomorrowland, Ultra Music Festivals, and there's other festivals I could have added, like EDC and other ones as well. And then just the general genre of house music here, which is a really big audience of like 113 million people or something. So really, really big, broad audience. But I'm mixing and maxing these different types of targeting strategies, and I can even stack these things, right? Like I could do people who like house music defined further again by people who like pop music, if this is like a poppy house song, for example. So don't get too precious with this. You can take some creative liberties and just try stuff just for the sake of trying stuff, especially if things aren't working. When a campaign I'm working on isn't working, I just start throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks, just because you just have no way of knowing in some cases like what's going to make the song pop off. And sometimes it's not even a musical thing. It might be a sport or a hobby or whatever. Maybe people who like this music like anime, and so you target anime and it works. You never know. So start with what makes the most sense when you launch the campaign, but then as you're going and testing and trying to improve it, feel free to take some creative liberties. So by the way, if seeing this stuff just stresses you out, you don't want to do it, it gives you heartburn or whatever, I do have an ad agency called Forbid Media. We can do this entire thing from start to finish for you. So if that sounds good, I have a link in the description. For the rest of you, keep watching. So step number 3 is to smash that like button. Just kidding. Step number 3 is to try lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences are a way for you to give Facebook data that you found to be valuable in the past, and for them to find a bunch of new audiences based on that data to get you better results. Now, lookalike audiences don't always get you better results. In some cases, they will cut your cost per conversion in half. And remember, I'm not just talking Spotify campaigns here. I'm talking lead generation, sales campaigns, ticket campaigns, video view campaigns, etc. Lookalike audiences can be a tool to dramatically lower your ad costs. However, they don't always do better. Sometimes they do worse. Sometimes they do exactly the same, because with your cold targeting, detailed targeting metrics, you're doing a great job. So your lookalike might not do better. But it's a tool that you have in your toolkit. So I'll show you how to create these here. If we go into audiences, so over here, I was in campaigns, but now we can go to audiences here. And I can click on create audience, create custom audiences. The reason why we want to start with a custom audience is because to make a lookalike on Facebook, you first make a custom audience. And this is literally just a bucket of people that have done something that you care about. So we can go, for example, to website, and we can choose this pixel. And then for the event, if you wanted to make a lookalike based off of leads, like let's say you have a couple thousand people that joined your email list and you have a pixel on that page, you can add lead. Or purchase, you could add purchase. Or if you're using ToneDen and you want to track Spotify conversions, you could do view content. In this case, I'm using Feature FM, and this is a more complicated case, which is why I wanted to show you this one. Make our retention 180 days. Refine by URL/parameter, where the parameter action contains music service. So if you've never used Feature FM, don't worry about this. If you're using ToneDen, again, you can just use view content. But if you're using Hyped It, it's going to be a similar thing to this. And so what this is going to do is it's going to make a retargeting audience of anyone that's converted on my Feature FM landing page. And again, don't worry too much if you're not using Feature FM. But once you have this custom audience created, I'll just pick a random custom audience here. Actually, I already made this Feature FM all conversions thing here, and there's 2,200 people in it, or 2,100, 2,500. If I go to create audience and I click on lookalike, I can choose my lookalike source, other sources, and then I could go and type in FFM all custom conversion, And then now I just enter countries. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see this. So if I enter countries, this allows me to specify which countries I want it to make the lookalike in. So what Facebook is doing here, and let me zoom out so I can give you a better look at this, is if you give them, like, let's say 1,000 people or 10,000 people, they're going to look at all those people, see what they have in common, see what they don't, yada, 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 and then rank them, and then look at everyone on Facebook and Instagram and rank them by how similar they are to that audience. Meaning, if the top 1% of that list, of that ranking, is going to be the most similar to your seed audience, and the people all the way at the bottom are going to be the least similar. So when you make a lookalike, you're choosing what slice of that pie you want. The bigger the slice, the less accurate the pie. So 1% lookalike is the most accurate, but it's going to be smaller. Then you could expand it. Now, you do need at least 100 people per country, and it can be a little finicky to figure out exactly which countries you have at least 100 in, but this is how you do it. Step number 4 is to not get too attached to the song that you're currently promoting and be willing to double down on good performers and pull back on bad performers. So here we are looking at one of my bands, Ever Waking Moment, and we've released 7 songs, but we didn't spend the exact same amount of money on every song. And the reason is some songs just did better on ads, and some songs performed better or worse algorithmically. So we spent a lot more money on Headlocked and Forget and Fear than we did for I Am and Claustrophobic. Now, some of these songs are newer and older than others, so this data is a little bit skewed. Like Omen and Claustrophobic are the 2 newest ones, so they haven't had the benefit of a long period of time to keep growing. Like Headlocked came out 8-10 months or something before some of these other ones, right? Or Claustrophobic came out in May 2023, December 2022, and then February 2022. So big time gaps. So Headlocked has the benefit of time, but we spent, I think, 4 times more on Headlocked than we did on I Am, because the cost per conversion difference was pretty much a factor of 4 between the Headlock being really good and I Am doing really bad. Now, this doesn't mean you abandon this song entirely. If I go into I Am, we still got 50,000 streams, and if we look at the last 12 months, well, this actually doesn't capture the whole life of it, but you can see it's just kind of ticking along on its own, right? Like, we're not promoting this song anymore. This is just the residual effects of after the ad campaign has been turned off. This is just people organically listening again. What the? Random person listened to our song 1,000 times in a day or something. But if we go to source of streams, most of this coming from Spotify algorithmic, right? Because we triggered the algorithm with this song, even though we didn't spend a ton of money. And it's a lot of, though, 34% is coming from listeners' own playlists and library. This is people re-listening to the song after they heard it from the ad campaign. If we go to playlists, we can see what algorithmic playlists are pushing this song. It's mostly radio, and then a little bit of your daily mix. Now, I think this song is in discovery mode, Spotify discovery mode. If you don't know anything about Spotify discovery mode, check out this video up here. But either way, it's algorithmic playlist, so it's all good. So by the way, if you're running a lead generation campaign and not a Spotify campaign, then instead of changing the song, think about changing the offer. Here I'm showing a landing page that's download our upcoming single for free, dark alternative electropop with a twisted story. Maybe that offer is just not compelling enough for people. Maybe it's the offer you're portraying in your ads, or maybe it's the offer being portrayed on your landing page. So you might make it a behind the scenes content thing. Maybe you're giving away a whole album for free. Maybe you're sending them a postcard, like whatever your bribe is, you might want to change the offer. And the same thing goes for a sales page. Let's say you're doing a free plus shipping and handling offer. Maybe your offer just isn't that enticing, right? And you might need to mix it up. So that's kind of the equivalent for if you are doing this for lead generation or sales or ticket instead of a Spotify campaign. And by the way, if you don't have things to be able to run lead generation and sales campaigns, consider checking out my platform, Music Funnels. I'll put a link in the description where you can get your website, your online store, your sales funnels, your email marketing, membership sites, crowdfunding, all that for one low monthly price. Anyways, back to the video. So tip number 5 is to actually have great music. And when I say that, I mean something very specific. And I came up with a 5-step formula that you can follow to figure out if your music is ready for advertising, which you can watch in this video right here called The Most Important Thing for Music Marketing. And if you want to learn how you can run Facebook ad campaigns for Spotify like this that I showed in this video, you can check out my course, Spotify Growth Machine, to get access to a community, the entire start to finish process, and then also my country list as well. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.